What can we learn from death in our own life? I wanted to pull a story from my own life to kind of illustrate how powerful this can be. So growing up, I had a grandfather that I really, really loved. And I think it was beyond a kind of a relationship that maybe normally people have between their grandchild and their grandparent. In my case, my grandfather was, as I'm realizing now, a guide for me. He was here to help me move along on my journey. And he taught me lots of things. He taught me how to be patient. He taught me how to be loving. He taught me how to paint. He taught me how to do woodwork, to go fishing, all these kinds of, sort of practical things and also beautiful things. But in our interaction, in our lives, we had this amazing connection and we really always felt it. But what was very interesting to me is when he died. So I found out that he was dying in cancer, and at the time I was very, very far away from him, about flying distance, about 8 hours. And so I walk up to my boss and I'm like, I'm gonna need some time, and I need to go see my grandfather. So about a month I spent with him, I spent every other day at his hospice, and we were talking, we were laughing, and we got this really amazing time together in the end. And then as I was leaving to go back, he looked at me and he said, "It'll be a while until we see each other now." And I said yes. And we both knew that this was the last time we would see each other in this incarnation. And then a couple of weeks passed and he died. And his death brought me into this profound, intense feeling of wanting to become more of me. So his death brought me life, because I started to think about the relationship I was in, which I eventually got out. I started thinking about the world. I started thinking about who I really was, why I was here, what was important to me. And all those sort of deep level cleansing that happened to me after his death, from meditating on it and contemplating on it for many years. By the way, this didn't happen overnight. But what his life and his death taught me was how profoundly we can affect each other as human beings in relation to each other. Not only can we affect each other when we're alive, but we can also affect each other at the end when we pass. And after he passed, my life changed. That's when I started going back to remembering who I really was. That's when I started really tapping into, why I was here and why it was important for me to be here. So my point of this whole long story is, and I get really emotional as you can tell, is that life and death are intertwined. And it's not just in the big things, we have a life and a death of a human, but also in the small things. So right now you might be experiencing, why is this leaving my life? Why did I lose my job? Why did I lose this relationship? What's going on with all these things that are kind of disappearing from my life? A death of a sort. And I would invite you to sit with that loss, because it is a loss. It is a death of something. It could also be a death of you. A piece of you dies, called ego death, right? And a small piece of you, chunk, goes and it dies. And there's sorrow in that, even though there's positive things that can happen from that movement and something disappearing. There's room for something new to come in and fill in that gap. I would say, try to sit with it. Try to see what gift life has given you by going through this pain, by going through this sorrow, by going through this grief. And through digging through that grief, you will eventually find the biggest treasure of all. even though it doesn't feel like that right now, because it's very painful. It was very hurtful for me when my grandfather died. It felt like I lost a piece of myself, and I probably did. But sitting with it, just allowing it to be, feeling all those feelings, trusting that there is something in here for you. There is this diamond, there is this piece of gold in your chest, just for you, if you keep on going. And also, if you lose a job, that means there's room for something else to come in. If you lose a relationship, that means there's some room for something else to come in. So there's never just this. It's like a door is closed, a window is open, right? It just always works like that. Thank you for listening. Namaste.